The weather is about to change a lot, and it is going to lead to more severe weather and a genuinely wild temperature flip. But before we get into that, we have to pause and recognize what happened yesterday in Mississippi. 4 tornado emergencies, the most in a single day since 2023, were issued across the Deep South. We saw at least 2 intense to violent tornadoes, likely EF3 or greater, carve devastating paths through the southwestern part of the state, especially near Monticello and Brookhaven. Unfortunately, we have unconfirmed reports of multiple fatalities, and our hearts are with everyone waking up this morning to that unimaginable loss. That same supercell was on the ground rotating for over an hour and a half, and we were live as it was happening. The damage photos coming in of mobile homes and RVs that were completely destroyed is a sobering reminder that when a warning is issued, seconds matter. Please, take a moment to check on any friends or family who live in that part of Mississippi. The recovery will be long, and they need to know we are thinking of them. While that tragedy is behind us, today severe weather continues across the southeast. And this weekend everything is going to shift back toward the Great Plains. Let's start with today's risk, because it is still very real. The Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, covering parts of Florida, southern Alabama, and Georgia. A marginal risk extends from North Carolina back into Mississippi, and we also have an isolated marginal risk in South Texas. The primary threat today will be damaging winds from a large cluster of storms that developed overnight and is currently pushing through. However, there is also an elevated risk of a brief tornado or two, especially near Pensacola, Tallahassee, and Valdosta. Most of the severe activity will be confined to the morning and early afternoon hours, so by sunset, the southeast should quiet down. Tomorrow, Friday, our attention pivots to the central and southern plains. A marginal risk for severe weather will return to areas like Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Springfield, Missouri. A large explosion of storms is expected during the afternoon and evening, with isolated damaging winds and large hail being the main concerns. The tornado threat is low, but I wouldn't rule out a quick isolated spin-up across eastern Oklahoma. Saturday, the severe risk hangs on across Oklahoma and Kansas, though it looks like a very isolated hail and wind threat at this point. Now, let's zoom out to the bigger picture, because the pattern driving all of this is genuinely strange. A large upper-level trough is stuck over the Great Lakes. This is a midwinter setup, not a May setup. It's responsible for the rare snowfall we just dumped on Colorado, and it's why we keep seeing those strong southerly winds funnel Gulf moisture into the south. Typically in May, our severe weather comes from big lows rolling off the Rockies. This trough is steering everything from the northwest and keeping the door open for repeated shots of cold air into the Midwest and Ohio Valley. That's not normal, and it's going to lead to a lot of uncertainty in the long range. Looking ahead to Sunday and Monday, a low-pressure system will remain parked near the Great Lakes, but a new disturbance will try to develop over the Central Plains. Tuesday stands out as a day to watch for the Southern Plains and possibly Texas, where a little more instability could spark a higher-end threat if a low can organize quickly enough. It's a low probability at this point, but something to keep on your radar. Then, by the middle and end of next week, we are likely to see a large ridge build across the plains, which would suppress severe weather across traditional Tornado Alley and shift the focus further east into the Midwest and Ohio Valley as we get deeper into May. The models are even hinting at a transition back to a larger-scale severe pattern around May 18th to the 23rd. I want to be clear. Over the next 7 to 10 days, severe weather will not necessarily be driven by massive, sweeping low-pressure systems. Instead, we will be dealing with smaller mesoscale features, boundaries, outflow interactions, subtle jet streaks, that can produce significant severe weather with very little notice. That means you can't just look at a marginal risk on the map and ignore it. These are days where one isolated supercell can drop a strong tornado, much like the one we saw yesterday. No matter where you are this weekend, make sure you have a reliable way to get warnings, understand your shelter plan, and don't let lower probabilities fool you into thinking there's no risk. This is a strange May, and it's not done with us yet. I'll have another full update on Saturday where we'll dig deeper into next week's pattern change. Until then, drop your city and tell me what the sky looks like. Take care of the people around you, and we will get through